Hello, Tony Attwood here in Brisbane, Australia, and this is actually going to be watched in Italy. So I really enjoy my time in Italy. It's a lovely place to be, and I'm looking forward to returning some stage in the future. Now, you have a conference going on at the moment with a fascinating theme, and it's a valuable autistic life. Oh, I like that theme. I think it's a good one. So my thoughts on this are to split this into two sections. One is in terms of the valuable life from the autistic person's perspective, and also a valuable life from society's perspective too. So what are my thoughts on this? When I talk to autistic individuals and what would make a valuable or quality of life for you, often the comment is an ability to pursue my passions and interests, to excel at what I try to do. It is a form of pleasure and enjoyment second to none. So if you're going to have a valuable life as an autistic person, it's able to pursue your interests, your hobbies, your fascinations, your passions are going to be very important. Another is a reduction in sensory sensitivity, and that's something I'm hoping in the future we can understand more. It's something that appears to be neurological, but it is extraordinarily painful and debilitating for an autistic person. It's the noise, it's the light intensity, it's the aromas, it's all sorts of aspects of the sensory world are overpowering. And if you are going to have a valuable life, you do need to be able to reduce, tolerate, or accommodate sensory sensitivity. Otherwise, your quality of life is going to be very restricted. Now, another one is social networks, and to have a circle of friends, relatives, and so on. But one of the things that's becoming increasingly recognized for an autistic individual is that you can have a valuable life connecting to the autistic community. That's where most knowledge on autism actually resides. There are mentors, there are guides, there are people who can be empathic to your situation. You can have a sense of belonging and connection. So for an autistic, valuable life, it's often connecting with other autistic individuals. It's also success in a particular career that is in a work environment that understands and accommodates autism. We are making progress in this, and many autistic individuals have a problem with their work history because their environment at work has had sensory sensitivity, difficulties coping with the social demands, change, and so on. But for an autistic person, the sense of self may be what I do rather than who I am. And so it's very important to look at careers guidance and career support for that individual. But it's also an aspect of looking at being the authentic self. That is not camouflaging. It's being proud of who I am and proud of those differences. The main approach that I have is not to change autism, but to explain autism, so that the autistic person has an ability to explain why they're different, why they may not like socializing as much as other people, why they are so uncomfortable with change and unexpected experiences. So it's the ability to explain your autism. So other people go, I wondered why you did that or did not do that. Now I know it makes sense. So it is finding a way of being the authentic self and not having to camouflage your autism. But another component for the autistic person is in terms of respect and acceptance. Respect for their knowledge, for their differences in many ways, but to be accepted and valued in society in a way that they're often seeking engagement, connectivity, achievement, self-worth, but also respect from the community. So those are the things that I would look for in a valuable autistic life. The thing is, as life progresses, it's what happens when you are a mature autistic adult, one of the things I found is that the long-term development can be much better than we first thought, of saying, okay, I accept being me and people will have to accept that I will no longer need to camouflage as a natural process. But also discovering strategies to manage anxiety and depression and so on that may be unconventional, like gardening, rather than medication or psychotherapy. The person creates an autism-friendly lifestyle, and in that may flourish. But there's also the question of society's perspective of autism and the value of autism in the community, and it's there. And there are many achievements by autistic individuals. In fact, most of the advances in science and the arts has been achieved by those who have autistic characteristics. So we need autistic individuals, because autism is a different way of perceiving, thinking, learning, and relating. It's a different way of perceiving. It's seeing patterns and systems and problem solving in detail that others can't perceive. So it's a different way of perceiving. It's also a different way of thinking. We say to think outside the box, but in autism, the person says, what box? I think visually, I think differently. That can be very valuable in problem solving. But it's also a different way of learning, often learning visually rather than, shall we say, socially. And often autistic children and teenagers have a different way of learning that needs to be accommodated at school. Sometimes it's by computers or books, but not necessarily learning in group settings. But it's also a different way of relating. And this is an understanding that autism in a friend or a partner needs to be accommodated. And so there may well be a recognition that this person is different. And how is that going to affect the nature of friendships, but also in terms of relationships and being a parent? An autistic parent has many qualities that they can bring into being a parent. So it's that different way of perceiving, thinking, learning, and relating. But it's also, to a great extent, if we look at that, other aspects that are going to be there in not just the sciences and the arts, it's in the caring professions. And I know a number of colleagues, in fact, a very close colleague and friend of mine, recently recognized the characteristics of autism in themselves, and they are a superb, brilliant psychologist. And I have had autistic psychologists, psychiatrists, and those in the caring professions, because autism is associated with being very, very kind and caring. So there are many ways in which autistic individuals have helped society. Now, your theme is value, and I would say, yes, I am always astounded by the value of autistic individuals who have taught me more than any colleague or book or conference, etc. I have learned from autistic individuals. What we're now getting are more autistic individuals contributing to research and suggesting areas of research, but also as a support network and provision of wisdom for autistic individuals, that the value for the autistic person may be in helping other autistic individuals. And that leads to improved quality of life because I'm valued because of my wisdom and abilities. So I hope your conference is going well, and these are just some suggestions for having a valued autistic life. It is different, but not defective. And in many ways, I strive to accept that difference and to embrace autism, not to correct it. So I shall say farewell and hope your conversation, hope your conference goes well. Okay, thanks. Bye.